Walking by faith is believing him, right? Believe him, because your belief in God's word is the key to unlocking all of God's promises. In my early 20s, I had a very wise grandma say something to me. She said, if you're bleeding or someone's bleeding, say Ezekiel 16:6 over them and the bleeding will stop. Now, this was in my early 20s. I was not saved yet, but I knew about the Bible and God. And I just never forgot it. Ezekiel 16:6 says, "And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live, yea, live. I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live." Now fast forward a few years later. I moved to Alaska, married my husband, and shortly thereafter he took me moose hunting. Now we lived in Fairbanks, Alaska. He took me hunting in Manly, Alaska. That was 3 hours out of town. Now we stopped for lunch and had lunch, and then he said, let's just practice shooting some soda cans. So I had a little practice with guns, but not a lot. And I was standing. He said, maybe you'll be more comfortable sitting. So I sat down and I rested the rifle on my knee without holding it tight. Again, I didn't know very much about guns. When I shot the gun, the scope hit my nose. And when I took my hands off my face, my blood was just everywhere. I had broken my nose. Now, I didn't have my Bible with me, but I remembered that verse. And I remember saying that verse over myself, the best way that I could remember. And I'm telling you, the bleeding stopped. We had to drive 3 hours into town to get to the hospital. I got stitches. I think it was like 7 stitches. But the bleeding, I think I dabbed it once or twice in 3 hours. It was just amazing to me. And fast forward again, I joined the church, we got saved. And one day I was mentioning this to the assistant to the pastor. Like, why does this work? Why don't this young baby Christian, why don't all hospitals use this? And he said something to me that I will never forget. He said, Barbara, it worked for you because you believed. You believed it would work. That is your key to unlocking all of God's promises, is to believe them, to expect them, for he is faithful. He is faithful. I want to leave you with a quote from Al Mack. This is, I follow him on Facebook. He said, just reflecting on scriptures, there are a lot of promises in the scriptures, but just the fact that they are written there doesn't do anything for us. And the fact that we read the promise might make us feel better, but the power of the promise is not yet released. Power is released in our words when we lay hold on the promise and declare that promise with that faith. Is that not a powerful quote? So, you walk by faith. Let me see. Let me get my paper here again. You walk by faith, by believing him. Walking by faith is believing him. I pray this has been an encouragement to you today. From now on, when you read his word, believe it. Believe it is for you. Expect it.